Okay, good afternoon everyone. My name is Richard, CEO of IQX Business Solutions. Very pleased to have you on the call this afternoon to discuss the topic of OneList Approvals. I think a number of you are aware of GLSU, the globally leading Excel-based journal processing solution, and we're very excited to demonstrate how GLSU can work together with OneList to facilitate a timely month-end close that's fully compliant with your Sarbanes-Oxley and other policy requirements. We'll just take a half hour of your time and quickly step through the end-to-end journal process, look at the technical components that drive that. Of course, the heart of the demonstration will be showing it all in action, and we can discuss some of the benefits our customers are experiencing from using these two components together and discuss some next steps. Alright, so just a brief introduction to OneList Approvals. I think many of you are familiar with the GLSU product suite. In summary, OneList Approvals is an executive decision support platform. We allow senior managers to make business decisions more confidently because they're better informed wherever they are. OneList is a number of clients, so you can access your OneList tasks on a mobile phone. We'll also show you can access it via Outlook or via any web browser. The main benefit of OneList is bringing all your tasks to you in OneList, so you don't have to go log into SAP to approve journals. You don't have to log into SAP to go approve purchase orders and leave requests. All your tasks get brought to you in one convenient place. We'll show how that works in the context of journal approvals in a moment. The basic mechanism that we typically employ for journal approvals is to use the classic SAP park and post process. There are alternatives to this, and we're welcome to discuss running the workflow outside of the SAP environment. But really, we think the optimal approach to approving journals is to use the mechanism that SAP has provided with the classic park and post process, which is of course fully supported by GLSU. I think the reason that park and post makes a lot of sense is that you have immediate transactional visibility from the point of entry. So as soon as that journal is prepared and parked, it can be analyzed for effectiveness and potential impact. That of course helps with the validation of all the elements of the posting and enforces a segregation of duties between the parker and the releaser of the document. Because things are in the system from the beginning, they never get lost. A concern of an outside process is potentially that journal never makes it all the way through to the back-end system, even though it's essential. But really, from a compliance perspective, we love the detailed audit trail that gets established in SAP through the park and post process. With GLSU, your beautiful Excel journal with all its supporting documentation and calculations is loaded right up into SAP and is easily accessible for any future audit inquiry. Also, because the workflow is run within SAP, it's easy to determine who the required participants are in that approval process based on the accessible org structure, company code or document type mappings. So there's lots of reasons why park and post in SAP makes sense, but there are a lot of reasons why customers often don't use it. And I think the main reason really is the end user experience. So as a finance manager at the end of the month trying to get through a bunch of park journals, this experience is cumbersome. Drilling through the SAP transactions, looking at a line item, for example, their cost center 1000. Those of you familiar with SAP will notice doesn't even show you your cost center description. This is not an easy way to review large journals at month end. The presentation of the information is hard. Accessing the attachments is a number of clicks. accessing the workflow is a number of clicks. So really to do your job in reviewing journals inside SAP means you've got to be in front of your laptop or workstation and patient, and lots of clicking involved. We hope that OneList can address the fundamental user experience problems or challenges of the Park and Post process by presenting approvers, finance managers, with a live task list. And the most loved feature of OneList is that little round red badge at the top of the icon there. We'll see in a moment that's visible in Outlook, so you know immediately you have some tasks and on your phone just by glancing at it. But so you don't have to go log in and look, and you don't get overwhelmed with email. Email clutter for workflows is one of the most hated features of any workflow system. The workflow system just sends you emails all the time, and it's hard to know with an email in your inbox whether you've actually processed it or not. With a live badge indicator, you know exactly that you have 7 approval tasks outstanding. One app for all your approval tasks, and not a separate app for journals, not a separate app for purchase orders and leave requests. Everything is in OneList. With all the information you need at a high level to do, if you're familiar with a journal that's coming through, we have quick approvals of a whole bunch of journals in one go, or you can drill down to the appropriate level of detail to make your approval decisions. And of course, your month-end close is high pressure, and not everyone wants to be in the office all night. So the ability to continue to review and approve these transactions on the go is highly valued. So the process we'll be demonstrating is starting off within Excel with your journal document, viewing the approval inside OneList, drilling down to some of the transaction details for a quick review and release into SAP. And we can show at the end of the day how that audit trail has been produced inside the SAP transaction. Some of the key differentiators I hope you'll gather from the demo is the speed with which these journals can be reviewed, and of course the faster they're reviewed, we eliminate that month-end bottleneck, and we can get our results out faster. The audit trail is fully maintained, and it's easier for everyone. With GLSU, it's easy to prepare your documents, and with OneList, it's easy to review the documents, ensuring that we spend more time doing the things we love, and the data is confidently, accurately posted and ready on time. All right, so here we have a classic GLSU posting. People will be familiar, I hope, with GLSU. It's a spreadsheet with an add-in, some very cool features to allow you to prepare your journals inside Excel, lookup of account values, for example, easily supported. So I'm going to process a telephone usage charge, for example, based on my invoice. So pick a cost center. Charge the telephone cost center and some text. Webinar. All right, so we're able to prepare a journal. We can validate that directly within Excel. No errors found. That's super. And in this case, I'm going to park the journal to SAP. So GLSU forms a live connection to your SAP system and creates a posting in company code 1000, document number 1020. All right, so what's the approval end user experience? I'm now just going to switch my phone on so you can see what I'm looking at. All right, so as a financial manager, I've got at the bottom of my phone, can everyone see my screen? I can't hear you, but I trust you can. This is a bit of a misstatement. Normally I have hundreds of unread emails and a few tasks, so this this relationship between number of emails and tasks is inverse to how it normally appears for most of you, I'm sure. Lots of unread emails, and within those unread emails, there's some very important tasks, like approving this journal. As a finance manager, I'm typically involved in more processes than just journal approvals. So if I go into my inbox, I can see here I have a number of Ariba procurement tasks, or HR leave request tasks, or tasks coming through from my Fiori inbox. I might be involved with some purchase order approvals at month end. Those are presented inside my OneList app. I can look at the details of any purchase order request, look at the details of any supporting documentation for my purchase order. That's loaded live in real time. So the idea is that all my approval tasks are sitting in a single app with supporting documentation to allow me to take quick approval decisions. So if I can do my purchase orders and my leave requests and my travel requests, wouldn't it be great to include my journal approvals, which are there? Okay, so the journal that we've just prepared inside GLSU is now accessible on my phone. I can go in and look at the details of this journal, various line items. If required, I can drill down the line item and find out why that was so low. I can look at my approval logs. If I want to, I can even open the spreadsheet directly on my phone. How useful that is, I don't know, but it's still a lot more convenient than looking at it in SAP. I can turn that sideways. I can read all my line postings. If there's any supporting documents or attachments, I can click on the second tab of that. Oh, that's interesting. It's coming up on my phone and not on the screen. There it is. So I can analyze any supporting documentations. If I'm happy with those attachments, all I have to do is click release, and that journal is now approved in SAP. And by the way, I could execute the same thing inside Outlook. Oh, so I get rid of this this phone. Excuse me. I'll just turn my phone off. Play. So if I'm in my typical email, I'll just hide that for a second. You can see my number of outstanding tasks is also indicated via badge on the icon. I can open that up without having to go task hunting in my inbox. I can immediately see the status of my outstanding tasks. The one I've just approved is now out of my live inbox. That's fine, but I'm now in the office. I can pick up the one I did just before we started this call, and similarly go and look at the GLSU attachment or make a approval release decision directly from within my Outlook client at my desktop. From my desktop. So I guess the main benefit from a manager's point of view is they have one place to go to approve all their tasks, including their journal approval tasks. That transaction is now flown through to SAP. The full audit trail is in SAP. I don't know if anyone really wants to go have a look at it in SAP. I would all confident that it's there. We've got a few minutes. I'll just show you the audit trail. So this is excellent 20. So without having gone into SAP, we've been able to generate a full posting. We're able to, within SAP, obviously still see our attachment list with the supporting documentation and attachments. And within SAP, I'm able to view my workflow to see who raised the journal and who processed it and how long we took, and do all that kind of good compliance analysis in a fully secure way. So I can see that the release was completed and the exact time it was completed and who did it. That's actually my user account, my quick demo. But if there's multiple stages of approval, that would all be visible directly within SAP for compliance purposes. Right, so switching back to the last few slides. One GLSU and OneList for journal processing. I think you get it. The GLSU is an awesome productivity tool. Accountants everywhere are passionate about the value of GLSU in improving their month-end processes, getting accurate journals prepared quickly. Financial managers love OneList about being able to access all their approval tasks, importantly for this conversation, journals, but also any other SAP or non-SAP tasks that might be relevant for their attention. Together, they really do accelerate the month-end close process. The full audit trail of who raised it, who approved it, when it was done is in SAP. It is fully auditable and traceable, and everyone has had a high degree of confidence that those electronic signatures are much more reliable than any hand or email exchange that might currently be occurring. So hopefully that quick overview of GLSU and OneList is of interest. We'll be in touch to address any specific questions or how that might apply in your particular environment. If there are any immediate questions that anyone has, I'll open it up and take some messages through the chat poll. Otherwise, we'll be back in touch. So the question is workflow approval dependent on her having workflow in SAP? The answer is absolutely not. There are, as I indicated, lots of good reasons for keeping the workflow in SAP. It's designed, I guess, to support the process, but it's absolutely possible to manage that workflow directly within OneList. OneList does have its own workflow engine and can manage the workflow outside SAP prior to submission into the system. However, or even combinations of that, you could have it parked and the workflow managed in OneList and then processed into SAP. So there are a variety of alternatives. I guess we've just presented the classic best practice situation of using SAP-based workflow to manage the agent determination and assignment of approval tasks based on things like transaction value and company code and document type, etc. Yeah, so a few other questions on the approval routing. So, as I've indicated, there are some standard journal approval workflows that come embedded in your SAP system that can simply be activated, and some of that routing based on some of those dimensions, like document type and company code and amount, are available to be implemented. So that's typically a very quick implementation of standard SAP based on your business rules. So we do that a lot, so we can help you with that, or your incumbent SAP partner can help you implement those workflows. The reason, in our opinion, or in our experience, that the workflows within SAP are not as extensively utilized as they could be, or that Park and Post is not utilized, really comes down to the user experience, the manager experience of trying to follow up on those Park documents and review them inside SAP is very is classically cumbersome. So with OneList, you eliminate that inconvenience of approving the documents in OneList, but gain the control and integrity of having the transactions in SAP from the beginning. Another question here from Kevin: is the document automatically posted when it's released, or does this need additional action? No, I hope, as we showed there briefly, by approving the journal in OneList, that's executed the release process in SAP. So it's all done and dusted. I think you saw there in a couple of minutes we were able to prepare a journal in Excel, submit it without ever logging into SAP. The approver was able to access that approval task on their phone or in Outlook and release it without ever logging into SAP. So I think you do really see the benefits from a user experience perspective of using the tools that accountants love, i.e. Excel, and the tools that managers love, i.e. Outlook and their phones. A couple more questions on the workflow around the routing and designates and absences and escalations and all of that stuff. Great questions. So I guess the bottom line there again is that SAP workflow accommodates all of those things. So within the SAP workflow configuration, you're able to define substitutes when you're out of the office. You're able to define escalation rules. Importantly, you're also able to define approval groups. So if a particular journal could be approved by more than one person, that task would pop up on all those people's task lists. As soon as it's been processed by the first person, it pops out of the other people's live task lists. Again, that's a huge benefit over email. Rather than sending everyone an email to say, oh, here's a journal, maybe you want to approve it, or maybe somebody else has done it, and not really knowing who's done it or who hasn't, with a live task list, the whole team is able to view the status of these open items and quickly access them, review them, and process them. So as a team, we can ensure that all the required approvals are obtained in the shortest possible time. Okay, another question showing up in Outlook. Will the product work with other email systems such as Google Mail? So there's a number of clients for OneList. I showed iOS app running on your iPhone. It also runs on your iPads. There's also Android apps, and there's also Windows phone apps and Windows desktop apps, as well as the Outlook add-in, as well as the web client. So the web OneList client runs on any browser, in any portal, as well as you can even access OneList through your Fiori Launchpad. So a number of ways of accessing your OneList of tasks. Customers, there's an API that will show you active task count. So a lot of customers just put a widget on their intranet. So anytime someone accesses the intranet, they can see a little flag say you have tasks, and you can quickly access your tasks from a URL on your intranet. So a number of ways of accessing those tasks. It doesn't rely on Exchange as an email system. It's running independently from email. It's going directly to the source of the tasks and presenting that in the most convenient way for users. The review process, listed line items. Yeah, good point. Is this the same for very large journals with hundreds of line items? Of course, that was a very trivial example that I raised, and maybe more applicable to an accounts payable accrual or posting. If you have thousands of line items, there's no way you're going to be scrolling through them on your phone. You'll be opening the attachment and reviewing the journal in Excel most of the time. So yes, it might not be suitable to approve those on your small screen device, but at least you know it's there, and when you get home you can open your laptop or review that in detail in the office. The point is that you're aware that there's a journal to be approved. If you're aware of it previously, it might just be a formality, and you might be able to do it quickly. Otherwise, you can you can do it when you're back in the office. The key feature of OneList is the configurable screens. So whatever is important in your particular environment to show in relation to journals, you can show. So that's just a very simple configuration I demonstrated, but you can have more details in the header or more details in the line items. A lot of customers might actually show the cost center details in that summary of the items. So what I've shown there is just an example, and by design, OneList is configured to your information presentation needs. What hardware and software is needed to install and integrate OneList to SAP? Another question here from Pedro. That's a very good question. We have two options. OneList can be installed on premise. It runs on a web server. It's a .NET-based application. It also is available as a software as a service via the cloud, and you may choose that as an alternative depending on your cloud maturity. So there's either on-premise deployment option or a cloud deployment option, and on-premise it runs on a .NET-based VM, which is normally not difficult to run up, and obviously the mobile access to that is dependent on your mobile access infrastructure, but that's typically not a major blocker. It's not dependent on any specific third-party technologies at all, so it doesn't require SAP mobile platform or any other third-party components to be in place. Does it support S/4HANA? Yes. That's the last question. So for sure, OneList is compatible with your S/4HANA environments. Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate all the questions. Good amount of interest. I hope that was of value, and we'll be in touch the next couple of days and see if you have any more questions. Thanks very much. Have a good day.